First, let me explain a few things here. This is not my story as such, but I got to witness it firsthand. A good friend of mine is from a family that owns 3 very successful Italian restaurants, with a pizza oven that uses actual wood, really top of the line. So he learned the business basically from the day he could walk. When he was 25, he had a good business idea. A place in the middle of the city that sells mostly slices out of a window, but also whole pizza, pasta dishes and salad, and does delivery, plus a few small tables inside if someone really does want to eat here. So he created a solid business plan and had his eyes on a prime location. It's 50 meters away from the biggest parking area in the city with 400 parking spots, where several times a year we have big city fairs, and anyone who wants to go to the park strolls right by there. So his dad said he'd finance him, but as a credit to be paid back in a timely manner. They agreed on everything, and a year later he opened up. The story takes place about 2 years after they've opened, and the place is hot. He's already repaid about 75% of the credit in a mere 2 years. Usually there's a line for the slices, which are from a family-sized pizza like 60 centimeters across, and you get an eighth of the pizza for €2.50 to €3.50 depending on what's on the pizza. We, me and my friend, are sitting on a table playing chess, while his guys run the shop. He had already worked a full 11 hours that day. Now in comes a baby boomer couple, and it was clear as day that the lady with the you-know-which haircut rules this particular relationship with an iron fist. They sit down on the table next to us, and after not even a minute, she rudely asked us why she has no menu yet, and to get off our lazy butts. I already wanted to tell her I don't work here, but my friend winked at me and walked over to their table, giving them our menus. It's about time you get off your lazy butts. Remember, she's waited less than a minute. You can't play chess when you have people waiting. What kind of crappy service is this? So he took their drink orders and walked behind the bar to make their drinks right away. They had to wait maybe 3 minutes for their drinks. They'd ordered a beer that took a long time to do correctly. Hefeweizen for you Germans. This story plays in Germany. About time. Did you have to brew it first? What is taking so long? And my friend's patience is starting to wear thin, but he stays friendly. You saw me walk to the bar and make your drinks right away, then return right away. Those beers take a while to pour correctly. I'm sorry, but there's no way I could have brought them to you any quicker. Well, now he's done it. We are customers, and this is how you talk to us? Ever heard of the customer is always right? How can you be so rude to paying customers? Now my friend really has had enough. I was very respectful towards you while you were rude from the very moment you came in here. The moment he said that, she got this weird grin on her face, and you could tell this was exactly what she wanted. Shut up. How dare you? I'll have you know me and the owner are old friends. I'll have your job over this. Now get me your manager. My friend, actually, plays along. Please, I need this job. Too late. You should have thought about this before you treated guests this rudely. Now, get me the manager. Right away, miss. So he went behind the bar and had a short talk to one of the older guys working there. Both returned to the table. The older guy says, "What seems to be the problem, ma'am?" And the lady suddenly begins playing the sweet old lady. When we came here, your server sat there with someone and played chess. We waited and finally asked nicely if we could have a menu. He rolled his eyes at us and gave us the menu from his table. Then we ordered drinks and he walked over, made our drinks, and then just stood there for a good 10 minutes before he brought out the beer. And then when I politely asked him to bring out beer, he was really actually contemplated before. I always assumed that those Never in all of my restauranting days did I imagine that any of them were actively trying to trip me up to avoid paying. I'm a guy who's easily rattled, so if any of mine were actually this kind of sociopath, I probably came into dangerous reach of being tripped up any number of times. Thank goodness that some of my bosses were incredibly hard-nosed tightwads who wouldn't give a free meal unless the staff member actively battered the customer with a baseball bat. I can only hope that the lady of the fabled short blonde hair was at least temporarily subdued into being a decent member of society for a few days. I know, but allow me to dream my impossible dream of a world where these awful people actually learn from their mistakes and get better. The owner of this place sounds like a real go-getter. To have a place be that successful that quickly and still be working on the front lines of his restaurant speaks of a real decent character. Today I messed up by accidentally stealing 12 bottles of wine from the supermarket. This story was written during chaotic Usually I go together with my boyfriend so we can get it over with twice as quick. Now, with the coronavirus, they only allow X amount. Amount of people in the store at the same time, and they urge you to do your shopping alone and keep 1.5 meters distance. I decided I'd go by myself this morning while my boyfriend was off to work. He has an essential job and still has to go every day. Luckily, it wasn't too crowded that morning, and I could get inside without waiting. Nevertheless, I wanted to go in and out as quickly as possible. Our supermarket has had those hand scanners with which you can scan the products yourself for a while, and then after scanning, you just have to pay and get out. I really like this, because it's a lot faster than waiting in line for the cashier. Inside the supermarket, I was getting a little stressed as some people weren't keeping their distance as they should be, so I started rushing even more. They had a pretty good sale on wine, with 50% off, so I decided to take 2 boxes with me, 6 bottles each. I quickly loaded them onto my cart, grabbed the remaining items I needed, and quickly checked the receipt to see if the discount for the wine was calculated correctly, but then I noticed the wine wasn't on the receipt at all. I must have totally forgot to scan it, so I just stole 12 bottles from the supermarket. I just went to the supermarket again to tell them about my mistake, both because it didn't feel right and because I didn't want them to find out and put me on a blacklist or something, as I go there regularly. The cashier had to laugh at my story and could understand my mistake. She was very happy I came by again to pay anyway. In short, due to the coronavirus, I rushed my grocery shopping and forgot to scan 2 boxes of wine, thus ended up leaving without paying for them. Went by the supermarket again to pay this afternoon. 2 boxes at 50% off equals 100% discount, right? Right? Okay. In all fairness, you did do the right thing, and to be honest, the narrator knows an awful lot of otherwise decent people who might have been tempted to just accept the win. But the author stuck to their morals and declined to get any cashiers in trouble or themselves on any sort of thievery wall. So whether we put this down to self-preservation or basic human decency, we can't rightly name a jerk in this story unless it's the people in the store not properly socially distancing. But even then, we can probably put it down to people being dumb humans as much as any inherent jerkery. I do not miss supermarkets during the year of 2020, let me tell you that much. It seems like the author's antsiness was down to a general fear of crowds as much as legitimate pandemic panic, however. So let's just call this story a bunch of goofs who eventually ended up doing the right thing. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, linked below. Also, go